we can now assemble a 15th side because this is the 15th episode of the Let's Talk Rugby podcast.
I'm still getting adjusted to talking through a stick.
The Uganda Cup returns. As always, when the week is winding down, we are here at Kratos trying to discuss the issues. I'm your guest, host. So, the moving on team has been ambushed. It's the quickest podcast team as well. Joining Kasementi and Stools for the mashup, episode 31 for the podcast, of course, and episode 11 for Kasementi. Lewis, as always, Kratos Rugby, here with everything for you. And like I said, it's a mashup. I'm not alone. I'm joined by Keniga Abraham Michael. Whoever thought there was a symmetry between 31 and 11? I know, right? the guys on camera being awesome. And of course, other than Keniga, we have, you might be who?
Zeno Thienowara, also known as the Dark Knight, and only Zeno.
You do realize there's no Ruben here today?
Yeah, we're supposed to be 4, but Ruben claims to be a hard man. Small drizzle and he hides under the bed.
I'm sure it's like 10 mattresses in building like this.
Yeah, we know him, little princess, but he'll be fine.
Say your last, you know him as?
I'll not repeat it. You missed it.
So, the reason we're here as always, rugby, the banter, the fun and everything. So much happened last week on the pitch, off the pitch. But I think we should start with the game that we had live on our cameras. That is Lion College going to
before you know the Super League had taken a break. Yes, but Mongers and Rhinos never took the break.
Funny how I forgot Rhinos, yet my favorite. Of course,
is it because you're wearing yellow like them?
Yeah, actually, yes, yellow machine.
They're not the yellow machine.
They are yellow.
Then they are the yellow broken machine. But well, they played Mongers and they somehow won.
They won.
Not somehow.
No one was interested. First and foremost, no one was interested in that game. Given there were other activities elsewhere, it was of no consequence to anyone. That is the first thing.
Mongers.
So no one was interested at the very best. So to be honest, I even don't know the score.
Mongers can lose to Tifaru, then beat Heathens. That's how inconsistent they are. But well, since I never had time to watch the game, I'll not say much about it.
Outside substitutes and the people at the entrance who watched that game. If there's anyone who watched that game,
I don't think the Mongers players watched the game.
I think Mongers subs did watch that game. They were more anticipating
but I'm sure there was a Gateman Legends.
There was a Gateman Legends. The only person probably who knows the score. And even I think the person changing the scores.
The thing is, they should have pushed the game like to Monday, to be honorable of the occasion, but well, the game happened and it is impacted, so I'm not playing to it a lot.
Just as a high, it was the player have said it was like after the team scores, you change the ball, put a number.
that kind of thing, very manual.
Okay, I want us to stop guessing and actually move on. Like has become the norm, you know. Let's stop guessing and move on to what you actually know and what you actually saw.
Today we thought we would not be moving on. There are no X's here.
It's the norm. So when you go to Rome, who was the Romans? When you meet Kasementi and Stools,
you move on.
It's the norm.
Lando, we're versing Namiliango College. No, Namiliango College, we're versing Lando. I want to first pay tribute to the commentator.
What to challenge the anchors from left to right. Wavbaine prop number 1 for by Chaku Yoti. Then you have Kakula for Otala. Good try. Good runs by Kalira. Well in. Above we can see Coach Edmond, the coach of Namel College. Version by Mugume. Well, in the match is 19-0.
Who's been the most dull commentator ever in all time, man. I've enjoyed commentary, like I enjoyed commentary when Kisubi were playing Light Academy.
Yeah,
and
of course.
When Budo hosted Namiliango, I think the commentator was a little bit eloquent and flew to the game. But I do not know this commentary was because probably the game was boring.
No, he never lost the occasion. The commentator is part of the sound.
partisan.
Is part of the whole experience.
Yes.
And probably he never rose.
But this is the most
occasion.
because this season Kratos has partnered and made sure every school game has a school commentator. It's part of the broadening of experience.
Talking about partners, Brighton influenced one of the match. Kalihida ran 2 tries to him that day.
Yeah, the very short number 8. He ran solid and he also set up his team's first try. He ran solid.
So no,
He tackles solid.
Yeah, exactly. But let's first talk about the main talking point. As in, this is Naminango playing. What do we expect?
No,
Winning.
I do not. Okay, I do not expect a Weaver to say something good about a fumbler. and since I'm the only lion in the room, I'll settle a dispute. Yeah, I'd rather rule you than 1,000 rats would.
You
A
know,
dead me would rather rule you all. So.
you know you are being cute.
It's just being cute.
Yeah, okay. In all due honesty, Namiliango had 10 scrum downs against them, as compared to London College, who gave out 6. And well, for a team that won 68-3 and gave away 10 scrum downs and lost 3 line outs, it's very telling of the quality of their coaching. And we've been whining about it. We're having too many scrum downs, and the fumblers lived up to their name.
Exactly, fumblers. You fumble, but find a way to win.
Well, when Namiliango wins the East African Games, I'll probably think they are winners. But
So how
let them even first get to the final. There are 2 Ugandan schools that have gotten to the final.
Italy is one of them.
Ntare is not among. But
Shots
there's
being
Hana
fired.
Mixed
Shots being fired.
and London College, the ones who were on the receiving end of the 6.
You're holding the balls.
I was not known to pass it anyway, but I had very good touches. But there were very many. What? You know those
WTF
moments,
moments.
and you like, what the hell was this guy thinking?
There's that shut down.
And
So
and he receives it immediately.
he receives it.
If you cost your team, that's how you're punished. You know, like he threw the ball away,
No,
literally
the-
kicked it.
the charge down comes and never do that again.
Yeah, he meets the hooker.
You see, talking about moments that were quite many, and of course we need to talk about the kicking. For a team that scored, was it 12 tries? I think
Yes.
we might convert only 4. With the so-called Black Jesus magician, and you know the dancing and failing to do anything.
Well, like you said, you fumblers. You fumble a lot, but you
Find a way
just
to win.
You see, if you're playing a more competitive outfit, you would have been punished greatly, very much so. But you're lucky you're just playing a side out of their depth. They never had subs. They never even had enough jerseys to go around. It was so sad, man. It was so sad.
There was at moment to love the Kasementi.
The Kasementi, that charge down and Kasementi, we live for those moments every weekend. And this is one, it's competing for one of the Kasementi and Stools moments of the year.
You said you played rugby before the Kratos era. Were you a victim of such a Kasementi where you kick someone gets a go charge down, and if you come to try to tackle a person,
I was usually a very good tackler, very ankle depth tackles.
But I would believe you as a
That
victim
is, I
because
wasn't a victim in
you
any way.
retired because of your shoulders
My shoulders gave way because of genetic.
or of missing tackles.
Of genetic.
You are
my
not
genetic
completing
disposition.
tackles.
Not missing tackles.
Your genetic disposition is missing tackles.
No, genetically, we're not built to withstand all that pressure on our shoulders.
It's actually funny if you talk about what you're going to do and the kind of pressure you're supposed to be up to. Every Saturday we've been used to Kratos cameras being out on, taking footage of games, but this past weekend was the opposite. Kratos was on holiday, paid for by the Uganda Rugby Union.
Is that why you have a glow?
They go all over the place, tells a story with
He had a date with Agnes. You now know what I feel like every weekend.
But it's actually very, very awesome to be in the stands singing in the front over there, those days, loud, very, very loud.
Why were you looking at me with envy? On Saturday.
post game, pre game.
I don't remember after the game. I remember entering though.
but yes, talking about this game, the team sheet said we had 15, right? But I believe the three of us would agree that only 14 were playing.
14,
There's the shadow.
There were many who were not playing, but Eric Muller stood out.
There's one who was evident, where we have glaring evidence of his non-existence, non-performance.
I think both were up in this case.
I think Eric Muller's performance stood out for a disappearing act. For someone who was named on the starting lineup, he really disappeared. And in a game against nobodies, these guys were literally here on a bigger vacation than Kratos. But Eric Muller. But it wasn't a very bad effort though. The Uganda select with 11 debutants. They put in a workhorse shift. Though some people have accused only one player of being able to do the job alone. I've seen banter that Ivan Magom could have played 1 to 15. Ivan Magom was scrummaging, Ivan Magom
picking a line out,
Ivan Magom jumping
And
passing to himself for 12. That would have saved us the burden of Muller disappearing in the game. and Robert Aziku failing to flank.
It was a tactical masterclass by Robert Seguya, putting Robert Aziku a non-performing 7 at 7.
Oh, there were very many tactical masterpieces across the pitch. I think in my case, Conrad Wanyama deserved to be man of the match, but it was Magomo.
He made Magomo look good all day.
It was as best as I've seen a scrummer perform in Ugandan colours since McMota and Chualabi burst into the scene. Actually, it's long since I saw someone as combative as Chiwa playing. But in all, still, Magomo could have played all the 15 positions, saved us from Muller, saved us from Maxwell Ebong.
So in the end, Magomo was awarded the Man of the Match award. Then your Match of the Man award was awarded to...
It's without a doubt among Elfaz. He played a dandy game. I don't think he deserves to wear Ugandan colours, even for the reserve team.
That's the poverty of the performance.
He was carrying poorly. He was scrummaging averagely on a day where Uganda were very dominant. He was tackling with assistance.
And he's not mobile. He's not mobile.
I was so unfit, but I can move 2 steps faster than him.
I can't believe you guys have said everything you said without mentioning Oyet Super Jazzy.
You could say it.
Wait for the classic Jazzy one to blast from the past.
But I know this not a game we should celebrate in terms of performance in any way. As in, we're playing against, I could say, at the very least, a bunch of a university select side. A university select side would have played against this French military side, and they would have beaten them fair and square.
The French have never pretended like they send you a good side. they do it to fulfill the occasion. Okay? And me, honestly, I went in to do what I went in to do.
How fun.
Yeah, I entered and my friends gave me a beer bottle and a black bottle, and I think that's how my weekend ended.
That's what you remember.
I remember that, yes. I remember Wanyama was putting on a Faf de Klerk-esque performance. Then I saw memes on Twitter glorifying Magomo. Then at the end of the game I asked myself, hey, did Muller play? And Yeah, but very many debutants. Joseph Foyet also with a disappearing performance. Maxwell Ebong with a disappearing performance. Farouk Odigo scored a try. Bongomin, I think, was played out of position.
But he seemed comfortable.
He was, yes, he's a strong runner, strong ball carrier. Naturally, again, he's physical. But the quality of opposition, as we expect to match up, does not entertain only physicality. It entertains a lot of intelligence. As we've seen very many, I think, I've seen very many classic second centers in the league who don't play for heathens, who can do a better job.
And Bongomin doesn't even play second center for heathens. He plays at the wing. So,
yeah, as long as we don't open up this debate more on how many...
No, I think it's a discussion that has to be had. Why are players who play better and in their rightful position not picked, and others who play for better teams are picked and played out of position?
Eric Muller. He came from the Pirates bench to the starting lineup.
As in, what is the logic behind such? Are you saying the league system is not... There's no credit, there's no merit for your performances, for you to get accredited, for you to get picked up to the national side?
I think it's because
it's a poor. We've set a dangerous precedent in so many ways.
First and foremost, it goes back to my eternal argument about who is managing who, because eternally our clubs are looking more systematic than our national teams. At club level, the club I used to train with, at least they had a strength and conditioning coach. They had a scrum coach, a forwards coach.
That's all past tense.
No, I was training this season. They had a backline coach, and then they had the head coach. And then also in scouting capacity, other people were working. But
the national side,
the national team
it's a one-man team.
It's an alpha. Almost all our national teams are alpha and omega. One person is taking sacrifice. I hate saying that, but people try to make a professional job.
He's carrying the burden on our behalf, they say.
I'm tired of saviors. Since one lied to us that he would come back and never.
2,000 years later.
2,000 years later. But I'm tired of saviors, and I think the fact that one man selects the team, one man coaches the team, one man calls up the players.
He coaches the backline, he coaches the forwards,
he coaches the line. He's the strength and conditioning guy, he's the kicking coach.
That often, that kind of setup, that lack of structure,
that lack of...
We have to move away from...
This is the damn national team. It's not a third division club, for crying out loud.
As in, we are African champions, for Christ's sake.
For one time, African champions.
Funny, you should talk about system, because as the three of us understand, we have teams going to Hong Kong for the qualifiers. And it so happens that Kenny is very happy. Why are you very happy?
We had someone here rave about the brilliance of Uchu Romano. Of Buffaloes. And I was surprised. I looked out for that name on the team sheet. I thought, no, this is the team sheet from last year. But then again, I did see another. I need to Chimono. I'm like, hey, it's a new team sheet altogether.
So, actually speaking, it's got a minus and a plus.
Exactly. So still remains at zero.
I think I made the right call with Uchu, without a doubt. He's had a monster of a season, and he's a monster of a player. I thought this was about the time that he had to start being introduced into the international game, because in a year Uganda has 2 tournaments, at least at sevens. If they're not playing the Africa Cup, they are playing the Olympic qualifiers, because now the possibility of winning the Africa Cup proper is also becoming slim. But I think nepotism aside, I believed Uchu should have made the team. I still think Pius Ogena is a cardboard who is going to be crashed into, and he will go and sit down and watch because his body has been ravaged. The team generally, I think, excluding Chimono, kind of makes my point, because I thought he'd run over the hill and he was not improving as a player and as a man. and as a leader of a unit because he wasn't scoring, he wasn't doing a lot in attack. And I still think it was very generous of him to have played at a World Cup before Joseph Faredo.
I think that's in the history of rugby sevens, that would be one of the biggest criminal offenses.
Unfortunately, it will never be righted. It will never be righted.
And we won't have any way to remedy it.
Very many Pirates players made the team, but I have a feeling the Uganda Sevens are peaked. They've reached a point of no improvement.
But haven't they picked, I mean, the likes of Chisiga, Kasito, Aira, all very, very young boys?
Young doesn't mean they are still useful. I have watched Ayera do the same thing game in, game out. I'm not seeing a qualitative game to him. I'm not going to see him pick a ruck. You can all sit back here and rack your heads on the last time he actually got involved in a ruck. Desire is going to do the same thing. He's going to run, pick, pump, go down. That is Desire, play in, play out, phase in, phase out. His game intelligence, I don't expect Byron Oketayot to pick a new thing. His game intelligence has picked. I think Philip has had a great season of Kenya Cup.
Philip is going to come and dazzle as usual. But
I think he's getting bored of playing for Uganda.
The fact that he has missed in camp, I think, will affect the team.
My next thing is Solomon Okia, who maybe could be injured, but again, from moles in the wall, say that he's not really interested in Camp Uganda activities. But our chances in Hong Kong proper worse than last year.
Worse than that. No, not. I think this time we are going to. It's a tour. We've taken a bunch of tourists to Hong Kong. They'll watch all the other series happening and that. They'll have some game time.
And if we're not worried, this could be the last tour Uganda takes to Hong Kong in a long time.
It's dependent on what happens during the Africa Cup, the 7th.
Because I'm thinking our players need a different, the whole system needs a different, it's like a press of a reset button. This isn't working.
So,
see, it's actually funny you should talk about reset button, because for the first time in 8 years, we are having elections for the Uganda Rugby Union.
The elections have always been there. But for the first time in 8 years, we could actually have a contest that could go to the vote. Because as the norm, since Peter Magona stood against William Blick and lost, we haven't really had a two-way contest, which was actually 8 years ago. William Blick served 2 years of his 4-year term. Served 2 years of his first term, then amended the constitution to make it 4 years per term, and then midway he left for bigger things.
Confusion or what?
No, he became the president of the Uganda Olympic Committee after usurping another guy from that.
Given the fact that Andrew Wall is stepping up to chairman, by VPK, I think is the chairmanship a stepping stone? I think for greener pastures.
I think Andrew Wall has been the most incompetent lucky man in the world. He was never elected as president of URU. He was appointed because he always somehow survives in a vacuum. His legacy of rugby is zero.
And I think there is very much evidence for that.
No, because people are going to come up and tell me, but Uganda played at the World Cup. Probably I did more work to take Uganda at the World Cup than Owori did. Andrew Owori stepped up because Blick had stepped down and he was acting chairman for Chadondo. He was also a Chadondo in acting capacity as chairman. Because the chairman Chadondo had actually happened to step down with someone called Kamukama. So you could say Andrew Owori is the luckiest man with incompetent.
In rugby circles.
He's the luckiest incompetent man I've ever met. As president of URU, his record counts for 0 in my books, at least.
Uganda don't want to run the World Cup for 7.
We've been champions for
Africa Cup twice.
What are you saying?
And we've got promoted back to
Tier 1. Our stay in Tier 1 was ticked by political decisions, add more teams, because we dropped out. Then other teams, like I said, he's the luckiest incompetent man. So things just happen to him. He does not know.
But I mean, the becoming flat behind the media opinion, that's not bad.
Yes, that's not bad. But at the end of the day, are we meeting our development parameters? You have a dead university system. You have 6 teams playing in the schools league, out from 8 to 6. You're telling me the game is growing. You have 0 participation outside Kampala, because apart from this year where for some miraculous reason Uganda Rugby Union sent money to the unions outside Kampala, 500,000 by grace of God, 500,000 appeared for the rugby unions outside Kampala. There's never been any support to rugby outside of Kampala, apart from token support, because most teams outside Kampala will play one fixture if they are not in the league. They'll play one fixture. Probably, I can give an example of Mbara Rugby Club, who do not know how fixtures look like, but will always have one fixture in Uganda Cup. That is this is a full, complete fixture. Then the 7s. Then, of course, how do we forget the player allowances?
How $150 becomes $150,000? I don't know which exchange rate is that.
No, Uganda will set their currency $1 to 1 shilling. So no, but again, it wouldn't make sense. It was 150. It was 1,000 to 1,000.
$1 to 1,000 Uganda shillings.
Yeah, so that was the exchange rate we were working on. But it worked for them.
Probably that's tipped in the constitution somewhere.
So that's why now we have Tonchu coming to contest against
Tonchu, Godwin Arinitwe. Kayangwe. Actually, Godwin Arinitwe is the current incumbent General Secretary. Honorable Secretary, I don't know how honorable he's been, but he's been named the Honorable
Secretary. The position
Secretary
in the Constitution is Honorable Secretary.
He's been the incumbent Secretary, and he thought it was time to step up. The catch I have about him is not being so honorable, because he's the man on radio. He's actually recorded on Sanyu as having converted Ugandan allowances from $150 to 150,000, and he's justified himself seriously on this, because as the Honorable Secretary, he ran the union. Secretary.
It's tipped in the Constitution. The secretary, the secretary is in charge, is responsible for the secretariat. The secretariat, which is responsible for the day-to-day running of the union.
So basically, the secretary, he's been the man in business. Yes. Now, in his reign as secretary,
as Honorable Secretary,
Uganda ladies never played a 15th international. In how many years?
I don't know. I think, just to supplement, I like to think of rugby as, before these 8 years, rugby seemed to be one of the biggest growing sports in the country. So in what arenas has rugby, in these past 8 years, in what arenas has rugby grown? Do we have more teams playing? Let's go in the lower divisions. Probably the shield is dead.
Most teams have opted to kill off their second team.
The shield as a competition is dead, first and foremost. We have more teams playing playing in the top division.
10.
We have 10 teams.
And they could improve to 12.
And they could move
and also in the same time, Walukuba has emerged as a team.
Yeah,
from nowhere. And Ginger Hippos has been revived.
But
from death.
The efforts of all these teams, have all been personal initiatives. They've had scant support from the union in terms of technical assistance. Then let's go to another area. Is refereeing. Refereeing is a big element of what rugby is. And over these past 8 years, I have not seen growth in number of referees. You have a weekend where a referee is at Kings Park one weekend, then he's at Chisubi, and all that the whole day they perform.
Chisubi, man, you get a refund of your fees. He went to college. He went to college, not to school.
Whichever way, but you get the point. So that is one element that probably the growth, scant growth there. Like you said, university rugby is...
The university league collapsed, making sure rugby lost over 35 scholarships per team, because my university, Chambogo, were willing to actually offer scholarships. Then the University Soccer League has filled that void. The biggest quarrel I had was the collapse of the under-20, under-19 national team.
With the commission of inquiry for what happened in Namibia that year. Madagascar that year. Still out there. Jury is still out there over what happened. We've never had a full report. We've never had anyone take responsibility for the
why 16 out of 22 players traveled to Madagascar.
Wait, let me get this straight. You want to put all this on the Honorable Secretary?
This is a job of the Secretariat. I don't mind if 16 kids travel for a 22-man tournament. I mind that when they come back and World Rugby bans Uganda for 2 years, you give us a full explanation on why we failed to do that.
So probably he's stepping up to make sure there's someone we can...
Yes, then there was also the sale of Kampala Rugby Club.
There's a saying in the Bible that you are given small responsibility such that you're what? You're ready for big. But if you fail in your smaller responsibilities, what do you expect?
Or in Luo, what we call twerk. I am proud of who I am because of the deeds of my forefathers. You understand? Can he be proud of the committee he served on? And can he be proud of the work of the Secretariat?
It so happens the people contesting to replace Godwin in the position of Honorable Secretary. Michael
is currently the regional representative for Eastern Region.
Then there's former coach Herbert
Wafula, whom I think is just looking for a job.
Then there's Irene
Amambi, yes. As she's been representing the ladies, and if I had to work under that scarcity, I think I would give her kudos.
And then there's Peter Odong.
Peter Odong is currently on the Chadondo EXCOM.
Yes.
And people say that he's a wheeler dealer behind very many deals that are coming to Chadondo.
Good deals.
Yes. I do not know about the nature of good deals because no player has yet left Chadondo richer than they joined.
Those deals are most of those deals are most of those deals are shrouded in mystery.
Yeah, they are very mysterious, but...
So we can't know...
Yeah, but my sources say that Peter Dong is a wheeler dealer. He's a man who opens doors in many places. Yeah.
Then, of course, contesting against Godwin for presidency is a one same member, Ivan. I think, so it is not about him, but probably since you and your qualifications in intelligence.
Okay, let me just clear this. Both my mother and father worked with Ugandan intelligence for long. So yes, I know how to pick data from many places. Ivan Semwemba has been with Chambogo Rugby. He's been the main funding, so he's been the bankroll behind it. He's also been bankrolling Touch Rugby. I'm tucking it to you, man. He's been the man behind Touch Rugby. And the times Floodlight Rugby were organized, you could also do the credits to him. The original Floodlights, not everyone who gets an idea and puts it out. It's very strange because for a man who's been doing this, not to be known.
Oh yes, he is not as known as you want to think.
According to my intelligence, he's a hardware dealer, mainly with Plascon. And that's how he influenced Plascon to sponsor last year's Touch Rugby. Then
it so happens our money is going to be trusted by has to be trusted by either Agramanya or one
Mutama has been
first and foremost, you guys, we have no money. We keep hearing these things.
We are hearing of debt. You keep hearing it, debt.
What are you saying? They're going to hand over money.
Otherwise, they would be paid and out.
For one thing I'm sure of, at some point in life, World Rugby was giving Uganda a grant of $66,000. I do not know how and why and where it is. Then Nile Special has a deal shrouded in mystery. But back to that, Mutama has been the treasurer and he belongs to Pirates Rugby Club. He's a very reclusive individual. Agra Manyabiona is currently the vice president of Gulu Elephants and also the managing director for Igarati.
He works somewhere in government too.
I do not know a lot about his government connections, but what I'm sure of is what I can say.
What Zeno doesn't know.
And by the way, we had from the previous AGM, we had an expansion of posts.
Yes, all the posts that were
VP,
previously appointees are now elected.
So we have 2 VPs now. VP
Yes, commercial and VP technical. First, I expressed my skepticism that I wanted the commercial VP, the technical VP, to be appointed. To be appointed.
It's a technical position.
Yes.
You don't expect someone elective to come and do technical work.
Yes, I did not expect, but that said, Dr. Leonid Were expressed interest in the post, and so far is unopposed. Though we expect, my molds say Adrian Kenya could, but you see they are from the same club.
So
Adrian Kenya is confused between going for presidency or everything else.
That already makes him a very poor candidate. That indecisiveness. But finally, VP Commercial, Peter Magona, the last loser of an election, and also.
What's his record as national team coach?
I will not go into his record of 14-2, but.
There was a Uganda played rugby and beat in a game.
No, but I said 14-2, but I will not go into that record. I don't know which ones are losses and which ones are wins. But
Magona against who?
Against Ntende Kenneth. Ntende is a very new boy to the scene. Magona has been around, national team coach. Also, he served in capacity at some point as the MD of Moringa Oglivi, who were the custodians of the deal for Nile Special. And he's no longer managing director, but you would sense a conflict of interest. But again, also, Kenneth is not innocent of conflict of interest because he's also the CEO at Dusupe and sponsoring Warriors. Yeah. So, well, if you're to go with me, I think this is one of those strange elections of youth against experience.
It looks like
it's looking like a race of youth against experience. But of course, the election is happening on 14th of April. Yes.
Oh yes, the election is happening on 14th, and of course, between then and now, we are going to have much more discussions. But you and I both know we need a breather from today.
we have to take all this in. Is that information overload?
No, because I mean, this is too much. It's too much already. The questions are many, the people are many.
At least we've opened the space for debate.
Actually, now the people watching should be debating
about this right now.
And giving us feedback for what we're preparing for them, because we are preparing a debate actually between all the sports, so that we know what are you planning. Are you just going to come and moonlight or to deliver for the game of rugby?
Or steal more.
All that.
There were pitches that were sold. But your shoe game
Oh yes, my shoe game today was inspired by returning to the national 7 side, Joseph Aredo. I thank you for sponsoring my approach today. They feel quite comfortable. But until I get a new set of clerks,
you have to look at Keniga in envy.
Now, Keniga is wearing shoes of my forefathers. I don't think I was old as them.
Oxford.
But until then,
classic.
It's been an awesome show.
It's been a mashup.
It's been a mashup. The podcast.
Don't get stoned.
That makes sense.
Oh, now you find the symmetry. Now you find the symmetry. Both 11 and 31 are odd numbers.
Oh yes.
Yeah, the math geeky.
And they also prime numbers.
Prime numbers.
Probably you can give us a comment and define what a prime number is, but Zeno doesn't. Probably you can give him an answer. But until Zeno finds out what a prime number is, it's the unconscious mashup. Until of course we see you at the grounds. Don't forget there's a possible title parade at Hiddens at Stadondo. Possibly Warriors may rain water on the parade.
I hear my sources say that Warriors may receive a reason to beat Hiddens. So you keep the champagne on ice.
But yes, it could be. It's still entertaining in rugby, and of course,
But not by the
school semis. We have King's College Budo versus St. Mary's College Kisubi. We have Makerere College Squad, Narango College Team Anchors, and of course, there's just so much happening. There's Hong Kong Sevens coming up. There's elections coming up. But until next time, it's been a mashup. We'll be seeing you.
So no college never qualified.